Welcome back to Big Mouth and welcome to yet another edition of the dceu Daily. And this is Henry Cavill's agent. And I'm going to read to you what she's talking about. Very exciting as she gives more breadcrumbs about Henry Cavill's future and career in a moment. But first of all, a happy 18th birthday to Zack Snyder. He ain't 18, you're saying in the comments below. He ain't 18, I know, he's 50-something, right? It's a joke, it's a bit of banter, but happy birthday, boss. It's a shame your birthday isn't on March the 18th, right? That would be amazing, seeing that finally we're getting your Justice League Snyder Cut movie, and I can't wait. But I hope you have a lovely day. You're going to get a lot of positive vibes from people. I'm already reading people on Twitter saying, didn't like Man of Steel, didn't like BVS, gone back and watched them. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Zack Snyder. They are awesome. The worm is turning. You know, people are coming to the plate. So it's very, very exciting. So now let's read this post from Danny Garcia, the agent from the company that represents Henry Cavill. When you know all the things you know, but can't share because of NDAs. You filter and just say, big things are coming. Well, I was very curious about this because Danny's very good at doing this and then we never actually fucking hear anything. Now, our hearts have been broken over Henry Cavill many times. So I reached out to my sources. Now, I can't confirm that what they've told me is true, but he's given Warner Brothers and Warner Media an ultimatum. Give me back Superman, I'll walk to the MCU. Now, there's always been rumours that Henry's been offered a multitude of Marvel characters, including Captain Britain. Now, I think this is a big week, a week where we're going to hear something. Now, if Henry doesn't get Superman and goes off to Marvel, it's going to break the hearts of every fan from the Snyderverse fandom. Even people who don't like Zack's Man of Steel love Henry as Superman. Everyone loves Henry as Superman. And if for a DC fan, for this actor who's played Superman, twice, we're not talking about Justice League, 3 times actually with Snyder Cut, but if he was to walk to the MCU, it would be absolutely devastating. It would be something that would break Twitter. It will break the hearts of every Superman and DC fan, me included. And so I do believe it's a big week for Henry Cavill. Now, has he really made this ultimatum? I don't know. But I think if he has, what's triggered it is the announcement that J.J. Abrams is producing this Superman of Colour movie. As I predicted already, I believe Michael B. Jordan will star and direct this film. And so, is it Ta-Nehisi Coates will be writing it? A lot of venom from the fandom menace about Ta-Nehisi, saying he's an alt-left social justice warrior, which he is. He writes about social justice. There's no question about that. But it doesn't mean he can't give us a great Superman of Colour movie. That's if it is actually a Superman of Colour. We don't know. I believe it is, and I believe Michael B. Jordan will direct and star in that. And I said to you the other day, I believe that this isn't the J.J. Abrams Superman movie he's going to write and direct. And I predicted to you the other day he will write and direct the next Henry Cavill Superman movie. That's my prediction. That's what I'm hearing. But again, sources say a lot of things. And, no disrespect to my sources that are watching this video today, but you haven't given me any documented proof or evidence. It's my responsibility to bring these things to my subscribers and to my viewers. And please smash the subscribe button and tap the little bell so you never miss a video. But it is my responsibility as a YouTuber in entertainment to tell you what I'm hearing. And what I'm hearing is this, that Henry Cavill has given an ultimatum, which I can't prove that he has, but that's what I'm hearing, that he's given Warner Brothers this big ultimatum. Give me back Superman, I'll walk to Marvel. Now, if he was to walk to Marvel, Warner Brothers, DC, Walter Hamada, even J.J. Abrams, everyone would have egg on their face. This wouldn't be good for Jason Keeler or Ann Sarnoff or John Stankey. This is something that they have to do something about. I remember 2 years ago that Hollywood Reporter article saying we're going to rest Superman for now. We don't believe a Superman movie can be successful. We may put him in cameos in other movies. Superman, the greatest superhero in the world, and these bums didn't believe that this character could be in a successful film. You know, this constant nonsense that Superman is hard to write for. Everyone is hard to write for when you don't have an imagination and your mind's closed. But when your mind is an open tunnel, like Zack Snyder's, then you can find a way to tell great Superman stories. I think that Ta-Nehisi Coates will write a great Superman story, and I'm looking forward to it. In a better world than we live in, you know, Michael B. Jordan's and Henry Cavill's Superman could stand together, you know, in a kind of Superman Superverse movie like they did the Spider-Verse animation, and probably what they're going to do with Spider-Man 3. And by the way, just changing the subject to DC, I know this is the DCEU Daily, predicting that Tobey Maguire will cameo in WandaVision in the season finale of that show. Let's see if I'm right or wrong there. But, you know, in an ideal world, Ta-Nehisi Coates and Henry Cavill's Superman would stand together in a movie, but we live in a polarizing entertainment industry where it's social justice. It's about, you know, in a way, isn't it? It's kind of become white man versus black man. It's horrible, isn't it? And I'm someone who wants to see everyone represented. I want everyone to have a fair crack of the whip. So I want to see our Henry Cavill's Superman, and I want to see Michael B. Jordan's Ta-Nehisi Coates Superman, you know, do their movies. I don't want one or the other. That's not what I want. I think this is the problem now. If you claim to be in for social justice and you want representation, then there's nothing wrong with having a Henry Cavill Superman and a Michael B. Jordan or whoever's going to play this Superman of colour. It's cool. It's exciting. I really believe that. And some of the anger towards this is that Henry Cavill's Superman is being scrubbed out. Of course, we don't know that. But this goes back to Justice League and what happened with Justice League and how they ruined Superman. And they kind of blame Superman for the failure of Justice League, which is absolute bullshit, of course. But these people just don't understand fandoms. They don't understand what people want. It's quite simple. We want Henry Cavill's Superman. You know, we're quite happy to have Ta-Nehisi Coates' Superman of colour. That's awesome. But we want a Henry Cavill's Superman as well. And so it's going to be a very interesting 7 days. I think something could finally break this week. Danny Garcia clearly has information. Now, either she knows that he's doing this computer game adaptation like he was teasing, or that he's coming back as Superman, or even worse, big things are coming. Could mean he's going over to the MCU. This is something that cannot be allowed to happen. It would be disastrous, especially on the build-up to Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. It's something we do not want to happen. You know, and if Warner Brothers are any type of company, they will sign Henry up for his own Superman movie. Give him his movie. If it has to be with J.J. Abrams, fine. If it could be with Zack, that would be perfect. But whatever. Bring him back and let him do the Superman story that he wants to do. Come on. Let's do this. Let's not have him go over to Marvel. This is really worrying. That post by Danny Garcia really troubles me because big things are coming. Could mean fucking anything. She has no loyalty to Henry Cavill's Superman. She's fighting for her client and she's a great agent. She's done great for him. You know, the Mission Impossible Fallout gig was brilliant for Henry. You know, doing that around the same time as the Justice League reshoot. That character worked out really well. Henry Cavill is a great, royally, Shakespearean trained actor. So as well as being physically fit and looking beautiful, he's a great actor as well and a great lad. And I'm sorry that he's being trolled for once dating Gina Carano, because Gina Carano isn't, as I've said before, isn't a supervillain. She's just a human being with opinions I don't agree with, but she's allowed to have these opinions. And trying to cancel Henry and calling him far right and this nonsense just because he dated someone with those views is absolutely outrageous. So all I can say right now is just to cross our fingers that Henry Cavill plays Superman again, because I'll repeat, if he goes over to the MCU, it will be a disaster for everyone who believes in this insignia. Continuing on the subject of ridiculous situations, a little Sunday bullshit rumour was going around yesterday about Amber Heard being replaced yet again as Mira in Aquaman 2, and this is by Rachel Abernathy of Screen Rant. Amber Heard fired from Aquaman 2 rumours debunked. Despite the rumours saying otherwise, Amber Heard has not been fired from the DCEU's Aquaman 2 and will continue to play Mira in the franchise. Yes, I stand with Amber Heard because nobody should lose their job because of their private business and affairs. Just like Johnny Depp shouldn't have been fired from, what is it called? The Harry Potter thing, Fantastic Beasts. He should not have been fired from Fantastic Beasts because he lost a court case. This is fucking ridiculous. He's a consummate professional and very charming on any set. Anyone will tell you that. So, like Amber shouldn't be losing her job, or James Gunn shouldn't have lost his job because of some tasteful, despicable tweets. It doesn't matter. He's a great director and everybody loves him who's dealt with him. That should be enough. If he's a toxic individual on set and he makes people feel uncomfortable and people can't feel they can't work with him, sack him. If she is difficult on set, then sack her. But don't sack her because of all these rumours going around about her. Now, Amber is Amber. She's fought for a lot of young children and women abroad who go starving, women who are treated poorly. She's an advocate for a lot of good things in the world, but Amber is Amber, and a lot of baggage goes around with Amber, unfortunately. But at the end of the day, I don't believe anyone should be fired for their personal business. Well, unless you're a serial killer or something. Let me make that clear, or something despicable like that. But she's not, right? Now, there's lots of things being alleged against her. Johnny Depp has accused her of being domestically violent against him. But then she's accused him of the same thing. It just seems to me that these two were in an aggressive, uncomfortable relationship and were being physically aggressive to each other. And that's not good, but I don't think they should lose their jobs or their positions. But it was Johnny Depp who put this in the public persona and has gone to court after court after court. He kind of shot himself in the foot, and this is why he lost the Fantastic Beasts gig. Anyway, let's read the rest of this article. The rumours suggesting Amber Heard has been fired from Aquaman 2 have been debunked. Heard plays Exebelian Princess Mira in the DCEU. Ever since her first appearance in 2017's Justice League, she went on to have a prominent role in 2018's Aquaman and will reprise the part next month for Zack Snyder's Justice League additionally. Now, this is funny, isn't it, when we talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League, because the birthday boy himself brought her back for reshoots. That's mad, isn't it? The kind of, so many people in our Snyderverse community hate her and want her sacked, but Zack, the boss himself, brought her back, and I say, credit to you, boss. Anyway, Heard is expected to return for Aquaman 2, which will once again star Jason Momoa as the titular hero, and is slated for release in December 2022. Plot details are still being kept under wraps, and filming is expected to begin this summer. On Sunday, unverified reports of Heard being fired from Aquaman 2 emerged online and led the actress to trend on social media. This is hardly the first time rumours of Heard's firing have spread, seemingly stemming from her brutal and public battle with ex-husband Johnny Depp. Both Depp and Heard have contested the other was physically and verbally abusive during their relationship. And in the fall, Depp was fired from Warner Bros. Fantastic Beasts franchise, which led to fan outcry online. Depp's departure also caused some to wonder why Heard wasn't receiving the same fate. I would just say I understand that, but I would say neither Depp or Heard should be fired for their private personal business. There's no telling what may happen in the future, but so far Heard is sticking with Aquaman 2. The Hollywood Reporter staff writer Ryan Parker took to social media to state he's been told by a reliable source that the reports of Heard's alleged firing are inaccurate. Parker offered up no further information. Told by a reliable source that reports of Amber Heard being fired of Aquaman 2 are inaccurate. As the initial rumours regarding Heard being fired did not stem from a reputable source, it isn't surprising they're being debunked now. Oftentimes stories of certain actors either being cast or let go from projects will take on a life of their own on the internet, but they end up being untrue. Heard and Aquaman 2 is an interesting case in that the controversy surrounding the actress could very well result in some changes, similar to Depp's situation with Fantastic Beasts. However, as it stands right now, Heard will continue to play Mera in the DCEU. The news will likely be met with a great deal of mixed reactions. Those who stand by Heard will be relieved to hear she's still a part of Aquaman 2, while others who think Heard is the aggressor in her relationship with Depp will be displeased. Isn't it funny, though? Isn't it funny? You weren't part of the fucking relationship, but you think that she's the aggressor. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't. It's none of your fucking business, and it shouldn't affect her career as an actress, right? A petition calling for Heard's removal from Aquaman 2 gained traction in December and crossed 1 million signatures, signalling that there are some who would like to see her fired. This is a delicate situation and one that will likely lead to more developments in the future. Only time will tell how it pans out. But you see, this is the political society we're in, and entertainment is dragged into it. Sometimes entertainment makes themselves political. But do you know what? We've become political anarchists. There's people saying, this is about mental health, this is about, domestic violence. And, if a male was accused of domestic violence, they would lose their job, as Johnny Depp did. But when it comes to Amber, it hasn't happened. Listen, domestic violence is a complicated thing, and mental health is part of it. Now, I empathise for anyone who's a victim of domestic violence. I have been a victim of domestic violence myself. Yes, my first girlfriend used to hurt me, right? Unfortunately. And that's a difficult situation. But what I would say, I wouldn't have liked her to get sacked from her job at the Co-op supermarket because she was hurting me. That's just the person that I am. People who inflict domestic violence on people are mentally damaged and they need help. They need, professional help. They don't need just to be thrown in the slammer. As I say, it's a very delicate situation. And other people who are victims of domestic violence will say, Mick, you're wrong. They need to be punished. But I suppose I'm a bit liberal in that term, even though I am a victim in my past of domestic violence. It is something that I know from experience comes from, historical abuse being imparted on the abuser. This is normally what happens in any terms of abuse. So it is very complicated. I think that Amber and Johnny need to seek professional help, but I don't want their careers destroyed. So it is a very tense, complicated situation. HBO's Max's Green Lantern eyes April production start. Great news. The upcoming HBO Max series Green Lantern from Arrowverse's creator Greg Berlanti is set to start production very soon on its 10-episode season by Andy, whose name I can't predict or say. HBO Max's Green Lantern Season 1 is getting closer to starting production. The Green Lantern Corps is finally getting a new chance to come to life in live action. With the DCEU film stuck in development, HBO Max is bringing the mythology to screen from Arrowverse creator Greg Berlanti. Green Lantern officially got picked up to series last year for a 10-episode season with Seth Grahame-Smith set as showrunner. The series' multiple famous Green Lantern, as most of them haven't appeared in live action. The cast includes Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, Guy Gardner, and Alan Scott as Earth's first Emerald Knight. Green Lantern will also star Sinestro and Kilowog, becoming their second live-action treatment. In past HBO Max marketing, the series has been eyed to start airing in 2021. So if it starts filming in April, we're talking about kind of fall, December, maybe September, October time. So that's really exciting. While no premiere date has been revealed, we know now when production starts. Production list reveals that Green Lantern is slated to start filming on April the 12th in Los Angeles. While it's unclear how long it'll film. Given that it's an HBO Max produced series, those 10 episodes will likely have a longer time to shoot. Since it's less than 2 months away, Green Lantern casting news must be incoming. It's possible HBO Max will unveil the entire cast as a shared announcement. But either way, unless the start date changes, Green Lantern fans will hopefully have exciting news soon. Yes, very exciting. The Lantern Corps is really Star Wars, kind of, in the DC universe. It's this galactic universe, and the planet of OR with these kind of intergalactic sheriffs. That's what the Green Lantern Corps is. So I'm very excited to see what Seth Grahame-Smith and Berlanti have got for us. Bring it on. That's what I say. Zack Snyder's Justice League sees Batman and Deathstroke team up. We kind of spoke about this a little bit yesterday, but let's get into it with a bit more depth. This is by Graham Gutman and Screen Rant. Zack Snyder's Justice League will alter the dynamic between Deathstroke and Batman, who are usually at odds with each other in the DC universe. Zack Snyder's Justice League will see Batman and Deathstroke team up. The enemies were supposed to face off against each other in Affleck's standalone Batman feature, but those plans were nixed when Affleck exited the movie. The foundation of this conflict was previously laid in the 2017 theatrical version of Justice League, with Joe Manganiello's Deathstroke recruited by Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor to join the Justice League. The post-credits Justice League scene was Manganiello's only appearance as the character in the DC Extended Universe, but the franchise reportedly had big plans for the character. At one point, Manganiello says there were at least 7 different Deathstroke projects in the works at the studio. Those projects were seemingly put on hold, but Snyder decided to bring back Manganiello for reshoots for the upcoming HBO Max release of his 4-hour cut of Justice League. Now it sounds like Batman and Slade Wilson's relationship will be vastly different when they are seen on screen next. Speaking at IGN's FanFest 2021, Snyder said that when we see Batman and Deathstroke in the film, their relationship will be very different due to unmentioned circumstances. The pair will have to team up to face a bigger enemy. Snyder says the director says that ultimately the two are trying to make the world work together rather than fighting against each other with opposing goals. Snyder notes the departure for the character after Slade Wilson was last seen with Lex Luthor at the end of Whedon's cut, but that doesn't seem to matter to the director. Joe's character in this movie, when we find him, clearly he and Batman have struck some sort of deal and they have a bit of a partnership. There's a bigger enemy, I guess. I think that's the big difference. They're not locked in mortal combat. They're actually working together to try to figure out how to make this world work. This is something I read out to you yesterday, but it's very interesting. And as I mentioned yesterday, is this a kind of situation where they reference what happens in Affleck's The Batman? Could they kind of tease Affleck's The Batman? This would be very interesting, because if this film is as successful as I predict, I think Affleck's movie is coming. Unfortunately, due to a major restructuring of the DCEU, Snyder's Justice League may be the last chance for Manganiello's Deathstroke to appear not. The studio has called the Justice League Snyder Cut a storytelling dead end, and after the box office failure that was the 2017 version of the studio seems to be looking at a future for the franchise that doesn't pull from Snyder's vision for it. That would be a big mistake. But when this baby is so successful, they're going to have no fucking choice, but we will keep on fighting, of course. Snyder has been known to flip typical superhero conventions on their heads, and the Deathstroke and Batman team-up would have done just that. It's likely the pair will unite in one of Snyder's nightmare sequences, and those are clearly a way for Snyder to imagine a future for the Justice League, one that the studio has repeatedly said it has no interest in. Luckily for audiences, Snyder is set to at least flesh out these roles in his Justice League. It's just a shame he won't be able to continue the story he has had planned for years. Well, I don't think it's a shame, because I don't think... who was that? I forgot. Who wrote this? Let's get this right. Let's shout out the writers always. Graham Gutman. Graham, Screen Rant do make the same noises in their kind of articles. It's a shame it's not going to happen. I don't believe that. I refuse to admit that Zack won't continue his Snyderverse universe and his arc and his story. He's doing it on purpose. Don't you understand? He's literally putting Deathstroke in this film, teaming up with Batfleck. This is a nightmare future. They're going to have to reference what happened in Affleck's The Batman. This is fucking genius, my friends. And it gives us more energy and more receipts to fight for the restoration of the Snyderverse. Now, this is something we already know, and this is an article by Farid El Ghafi of Screen Rant. Zack Snyder confirms Martian Manhunter created Swanwick as an alter ego. Now, Mick D started screaming out on social media yesterday, we already knew this because Zack told us ages ago. Listen, oh, by the way, Mick D has also told us just to enjoy what we've got and pretty much not fight for anything else. I don't like that attitude, and anyone who loves DC and loves Zack, really, it's, we're fighting here. We're fighting. We want more. We're not just going to enjoy this. Why should we? The Snyder Cut gives us an opportunity to enjoy this trilogy, but also to fight for more. Why wouldn't you? So let me explain to you, Mick, why people are surprised, because people saw this discussed on the IGN FanFest. Now, yes, we, the fandom of Zack Snyder's DC Universe, know all about this, but we are trying to take this to a mainstream level. Why do you think Zack chose Terry Schwartz and IGN? Because IGN is a place that's viewed by mainstream geek and nerds, so they didn't know about this. This is going to be exciting for them too. This is why so many people are going back to MOS and BVS and saying, actually, these are great movies. This is a great thing that Zack's doing. So, in a way, if you criticise why are people surprised, you're criticising what Zack's trying to do here. So, Zack Snyder confirms Martian Manhunter will appear in the Justice League Snyder Cut. Has been hiding in plain sight all along as Swanwick. Zack Snyder's Justice League will show General Swanwick as the Martian Manhunter in disguise. And Snyder confirms Swanwick has been the alien hero's alter ego throughout his DC Extended Universe appearance. With the long-awaited Snyder Cut hitting HBO Max on March the 18th, in all its 4-hour-long glory, Snyder is revealing previously guarded secrets about his DCEU films. Audiences just recently learned Snyder's proposed Justice League 2 would have taken place entirely during the nightmare future, which would have been epic, right? A post-apocalypse in which a resistance led by Batman must fight against the tyrannical and grief-stricken Superman. General Swanwick, portrayed by Harry J. Lennox, appears in Man of Steel and Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice as the US Secretary of Defense. Swanwick was intended to appear in Justice League as well. Now, if you think about it, he's pretty similar of a character to what we see in Supergirl at the DEO. Well, basically, that character, who's a Martian Manhunter, is also in charge of the DEO. But it's a pretty similar character. But it's never came to, basically, was intended to appear in Justice League as well. But it never came to fruition. The director's cut is an epic realization of Snyder's larger vision for the franchise. Many of the threads to be expanded upon in Justice League 2 would have been seeded in the first film. And the Snyder Cut remains faithful to this notion, even if audiences will never see the ends of those threads in much the same fashion as Marvel's Cinematic Universe's epics. Zack Snyder's Justice League is a chock full of interwoven plots and superhero eye candy. It boasts 5 more villains than the theatrical cut. In an interview as part of the IGN FanFest of 2021, Snyder confirmed Martian Manhunter and General Swanwick are indeed one and the same. It's not just a new character arriving in his cut. Audiences have known for a while General Swanwick is supposed to reveal himself as Martian Manhunter, but Lennox himself asked Snyder during his interview whether Martian Manhunter was only appearing as Swanwick temporarily in Zack Snyder's Justice League, or if he had been disguising himself as Swanwick all along. Snyder confirmed the latter, definitively calling Swanwick Martian Manhunter's alter ego. Check out Snyder's quote below. Swanwick and Martian Manhunter, it's like his alter ego, that kind of the way I see it. And if you notice the way he's manipulated both Lois and Clark to be the best they can be, because in this incarnation, he wants humanity to kind of do it themselves. and or this new hero in Superman. And I think that that's the kind of way I see it, and that he's, they have the same voice. J'onn J'onzz, better known as Martian Manhunter, is a staple of the DC universe and one of its most powerful heroes. Super strength, flight, shape-shifting, and telepathy are but few of his alien abilities. He has appeared in cartoons, films, live-action series, video games, and more, saving the world from earthbound and intergalactic threats. For him to have secretly been influencing events throughout the DCEU as General Swanwick is an exciting implementation of a hero whose powers are such that he can rise to the highest level of government in disguise. There is perhaps no one quite as excited about the reveal as Lennox himself, who called on audiences to start a campaign to get Martian Manhunter his own film. It's unclear exactly where Warner Bros. Wants to go with the DCEU from here. According to Snyder, they've expressed little interest in continuing his vision for the franchise, though a massive fan campaign brought Zack Snyder's Justice League to the finish line. It's entirely possible that enough demonstrated interest could help realise a Martian Manhunter solo film. Yeah, basically, restoring the Snyderverse would help Harry J. Lennox get his Martian Manhunter movie. Now, don't forget, in some comic book iterations, he's actually a policeman. In iterations, he actually loses his powers and abilities and actually just becomes an ordinary human, and he becomes the policeman and calls himself, I think, J'onn J'onzz, but his real name is J'onn J'onzz. You pronounce it that way. So there's loads of different versions of this character. He's a great character. In fact, Smallville had a great version as well. I really like that version. He's thus far my favourite live-action version, but I haven't seen what we're going to get from Harry J. Lennox when he actually plays the Martian Manhunter. So I'm very, very excited to see how all this plays out. There's no question WB are resistant to continue the Snyderverse, but profits and a big success would make Stanky get his size 9s out and say, out the way, lads and lasses, this is happening. So now let's talk about this Superman movie being developed by Ta-Nehisi Coates and produced by J.J. Abrams. This is from Andy, whose name I can't, a surname I can't pronounce. DCEU theory: Superman reboot is a new Man of Steel, not Clark Kent. With Superman being rebooted for the big screen once again, it will introduce a new Man of Steel instead of Clark Kent carrying the mantle. A Superman reboot is in the works for the DCEU, and it will be a new Man of Steel wearing the cape, as opposed to Clark Kent in 2021. I don't think any of us want a kind of, let's say, a different person playing Clark Kent. I think the last thing any of us want, and I don't care if you're from Asian descent, whether you're a Latino or a person of colour, I don't think any of us want to see a person of colour playing Clark Kent. I certainly don't want to see that. I would support the movie, and I'm sure Michael B. Jordan or whatever actor of colour they cast would do a great job. But I don't think any of us want to see that. First of all, it's kind of racist to people of colour as well, because there is a Superman of colour, a different character, who is Superman in the comics. So let's do him. Let's have him be involved in the DC live-action universe, as well as Clark Kent, as well as Henry Cavill's Clark Kent. A Superman reboot is in the works for the DCEU, and it will be a new Man of Steel wearing a cape as opposed to Clark Kent. 2021 is turning out to be a big year for DC Comics' Man of Tomorrow, as the character is getting more attention in media than ever. The Arrowverse premiered its new spin-off show, Superman and Lois, and Henry Cavill will soon be reprising the role of Superman in Zack Snyder's Justice League, which finally brings the director's original vision for the DC team, with reports that J.J. Abrams' reboot will feature a black Superman. Said media attention isn't likely to die down anytime soon. No, but we don't want media attention to die down with Superman. He should be the superhero everyone talks about all the time. And I'm happy finally it's becoming this way. Superman's cinematic future has been uncertain since Warner Bros. And Joss Whedon's failed version of Justice League in 2017. Even though Superman won't be in the upcoming... Now, this is interesting. Even though Superman won't be in the upcoming The Flash movie. That's absolute bullshit. Andy, whose surname I can't pronounce. That's bullshit. That's bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Superman is actually in the original Flashpoint story. I know this is not going to be, Andrew Machetti's already said this is not a copy and pasted Flashpoint story, but you would need him in the beginning of the film as Superman. And there's a kind of new Flashpoint version. And then when you go back, you either, if you want to twist the narrative, have a new Superman. But Jesus Christ, Superman is in this film. And I'm crossing my fingers Henry Cavill will be in this Flashpoint movie. So you don't have enough information, Andy, to say he's not in it. Absolute ridiculous thing. Absolutely a ridiculous thing to say. So even though Superman won't be in the upcoming The Flash movie, his cousin Supergirl will. So he's got half of that right. Andy Muschietti, who is helming the DC picture, revealed in a special video to actress Sasha Calle that she had landed the role as the Girl of Steel. The news led to some to speculate that Supergirl would replace Superman in the DCEU. No, this is simply not true. Instead, reports suggest a new iteration of The Last Son of Krypton is on the way to the big screen. After several years of rumours, J.J. Abrams is officially rebooting the icon through his overall deal with Warner Media. Now, I've always explained to you already at the top of the show and the other day, this is not the film. The Ta-Nehisi Coates film isn't the film JJ's going to write and direct. No. Michael B. Jordan will star and direct this film. I've already told you that. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen. And I believe, and I'm hoping, that J.J. Abrams will write and direct the next Henry Cavill Superman movie, so listen out for that. These guys make assumptions sometimes. If I was writing, and I think Screen Rant have got great journalists and I'm very supportive to them, but I think it's a bit embarrassing for Andy to say Superman isn't in Flashpoint. You just don't know that. I believe he will be. Anyway, Abrams is currently attached as a producer, as Ta-Nehisi Coates has been tapped to write the screenplay for the Superman reboot. The film currently has no set release date nor a director, as Abrams, as of this point, only producing the project through his Bad Robot production company. All available evidence suggests that this will be a new version of the character rather than another Clark Kent story. Given that the DC Universe has seen other characters carry the Superman title, the next cinematic interpretation of him will see a new character don the cape rather than Clark, and chances are it will be Calvin Ellis. Calvin Ellis would be a great choice. For a few years now, the idea of a different Superman has been floating around and is becoming heavily important for this reboot. A few years ago, Michael B. Jordan had met with DC about playing the Man of Steel, which is where the idea of a black Superman in film gained a lot of momentum. However, it didn't move forward as DC and Warner Brothers focused on producing other films from the comic publisher. Fast forwarding to February 2021, following the announcement that a Superman reboot was in the works, were reports that Abrams' film would star a black version of the Man of Steel. Now, by the way, only journalists are talking about a black Superman. JJ hasn't said anything, nor has Ta-Nehisi Coates, but I believe it will either be a Superman of colour or a Latino Superman. I say Latino because Latinos are very, people of colour are so well represented in the entertainment industry, and Latinos are not. We had this whole thing with the Golden Globes being accused of being racist, but yesterday we saw an Asian female director win a Golden Globe, rightly so, right, which is great, and we saw a lot of other people who are not people of colour but are in the minority in Hollywood winning Golden Globes, but people of colour were complaining that the Golden Globes are racist. I wouldn't call that racism, would you? Anyway, so I believe there's a big chance here, rather than a Superman of colour, we may get a Latino Superman, and seeing we're getting a Latino Supergirl, this would make sense, but we will just have to wait and see. In an official statement from Abrams, the filmmaker expressed his excitement that there is a new, powerful and moving Superman story yet to be told, alluding to that this will be definitely take the icon in a new direction. The same sentiment was shared by Coates, who is excited about adding to the legacy of one of the most beloved fictional characters in the world. It will likely be a while until Warner Bros. Reveals which black interpretation of Superman they're basing this reboot on. The project is still in the early stages of development, with no projected release date yet, since Abrams and company are likely also searching for a director while completing the screenplay. I believe it's Michael B. Jordan. Again, I could be wrong. I don't have a strong kind of opinion on Michael B. Jordan, so it doesn't have to be him or him directing. I just think this makes sense. Anyway, and Michael has got a big relationship with Warner Brothers. And he's worked with Ta-Nehisi Coates before. It's going to be Michael B. Jordan playing this and directing this movie. I'm sure of it. Since Warner Brothers did come out and announce it in early 2021, it's possible there will be bigger reveals at future events, since it's highly unlikely that something like San Diego Comic-Con will happen in the traditional sense due to the pandemic. Well, yeah, I suppose it's too early for that, so we may have to do it. They may do a Zoom version of that, but we know I think there'll probably be a DC Fandom 2 this year, which will be very exciting. We'll have to wait and see for that, and probably get more in the future. DC Fandom may be used to unveil the further plans. That's where Matt Reeves' The Batman got to take centre stage, as the director discussed the film more in depth before unveiling the first teaser trailer. Something similar could happen at a big DC-themed event, where DC either reveals a director or who will star as the next Superman, which of course is very exciting. I am excited for this project, but I'm also fighting for Henry Cavill. So I stand with Henry Cavill, but I'm also excited for this new Superman iteration. And I know everyone at the Fandom Menace is going, no, this is terrible. And they're doing their usual thing, saying Jar Jar Abrams. Listen, they make some good points about JJ. He's more for his brand rather than being creative these days. I understand that. I believe if I was a friend of JJ's, I'd say, JJ, you should go back to being a creative. But that's up to him, and that's his decision. Brand JJ is a big thing, but there's been lots of potholes in the journey, like the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Clearly, that didn't work out for JJ, and only JJ knows why that went wrong. But Star Trek 2009 was fantastic. Star Trek Into Darkness was polarizing. I kind of thought it was a good movie, but not a particularly good Star Trek movie, but a movie. It was quite good and did a good job and was well made and well written. That's just my personal opinion. The guy has ability. He won't want to mess Superman up, especially with his name on it. And finally today, this is our final article and the final piece I'm going to speak about today from a Screen Rant by Graham Gutman again. This is really exciting, and this is something I missed from the IGN Fan Fest because I was doing it in between, waiting for my takeaway, my dinner to arrive. So very difficult with the different times. It was 10 a.m. for you guys in the US, but it was evening time for us in Europe. So this is a really big, exciting kind of thing that Zack revealed about Zack Snyder's Justice League Snyder Cut. Zack Snyder's Justice League features a 15-minute Cyborg Flashback. This is so important. This will be like watching a pilot episode of a Cyborg TV series. To get that origin flashback for 15 minutes is brilliant and gives Ray Fisher a time to shine. It takes us away from the battle he's fighting with Warner Brothers and the negativity that's brought out and a divide within the fandom. Ray Fisher is a good young actor. I want to see him keep on playing Cyborg. So I'm really excited about this. So Zack Snyder Cut of Justice League will feature an extensive 15-minute sequence that explores Victor Stone's past and how he came to be Cyborg. And when you've got a 4-hour movie, over a 4-hour movie, this is something you can do. I'm so excited about this. And how could they cut this out of Justice League? Is this something he did in the extensive reshoots with Zack? Because Zack didn't do much. I'm assuming this is something they shot back in 2016, but it's really awesome to hear about this. Zack Snyder's Justice League includes a 15-minute flashback centered around Ray Fisher's Victor Stone, Cyborg. When Joss Whedon took over from Snyder during post-production on the original 2017 Justice League, the character of Cyborg took a major hit. Whedon seemed to severely alter the character from what Snyder had originally intended, and Fisher came forward alleging abusive on-set behavior from Whedon. Since then, Fisher and Warner Brothers have been engaged in lengthy and public battle about the 2017 Justice League reshoot. The allegations of subsequent backlash culminated in Fisher being... Let's say that again. The allegations of subsequent backlash culminated in Fisher being removed from the upcoming DC film The Flash. Fisher has made it clear that he no longer wishes to work in the DC Extended Universe while Walter Hamada, DC Films' current president, oversees the movies. Fisher has said, however, that he would be more than willing to work with Snyder again on Justice League 2, which would be brilliant, wouldn't it? The actor returned for the 2020 Justice League reshoots to help Snyder see his vision through. Part of the vision included a more expansive backstory centered around Victor Stone. In a new interview, Zack Snyder's Justice League composer Junkie XL confirmed to the film Junkie that the upcoming film will feature a lengthy flashback sequence centered around the character. Junkie XL wrote a track for the entire sequence called Cyborg Story. Wow, I can't wait to get my ear holes all over that, right? Cyborg Story. The composer also revealed the length of the track and the flashback scene featuring Cyborg, 15 minutes. Wow, and by the way, that track they released for Zack Snyder's Justice League by Mr. Junkie XL is actually the Justice League theme. Junkie Tom Hulkenberg actually confirmed that, so that's awesome. Great tune, I loved it. So Cyborg's past is really troubling as well. His section in the movie is called Cyborg Story, and it's basically a 15-minute scene where we see what his backstory is and where he's from and what happened to him, and that's from Tom Hulkenberg, Junkie XL. The finished version of Justice League certainly did not include a lengthy scene centered around Victor Stone. Many audiences felt as if the final version skimped on the introduction of one of the pivotal members of the titular superhero team. His past was shown in flashes and montages rather than in any depth sequence. Seeing as Snyder's reshoots were mainly pickup shots with only one full new scene shot, it seems that from the beginning Snyder had big plans for Cyborg and Whedon did away with them, which is outrageous, isn't it? Outrageous. While those who enjoyed Fisher and Cyborg are surely excited to see an entire sequence centered around the character, it's also a reminder of Fisher's uncertain future in the DCEU. With a solo Cyborg movie seemingly on hold and Fisher's appearance in The Flash nixed, there are no current plans for Cyborg to make a DCEU return. Fisher, too, seems reticent to work with the people who have so severely bungled the situation surrounding the 2017 reshoots. It seems that just as Snyder's Justice League is the director's last hurrah, it's not a last fucking hurrah, Graham! Bloody hell, it may also be Cyborg's unless some solution is reached regarding the controversy. It's simple. The controversy won't end between Ray and WB. It will go back and forth, he said, she said, for the end of time. But the guy said he's willing to work with Zack. Justice League 2 will happen. Ray is willing to work with Zack Snyder. So it's fine, Graham. Stop saying it's the last hurrah, or you're just doing it to wind me up so I can just keep on saying that it's not the fucking last hurrah. We will fight for this. We will buy this film repeatedly and watch it on HBO Max repeatedly. We will make it a success. The mainstream, the normies are going to watch this as well. Everyone's interested in this film. So keep on campaigning and we will get more. We will see the restoration of the Snyderverse. Restore the Snyderverse. We will win. Comment down below. Like, share and subscribe. And I'll be back tomorrow with even more DCEU Daily. See you again soon.